Zach.
Nick.
Charles.
Chris.
Sammy.
Thad.
Go. Hello, I invited you all here today to tell you something that I have discovered that I think you will find very interesting. How many of you have avoided going to the doctor or getting vaccines because you're afraid of needles? Does the fear of needles induce anxiety in you immediately when you hear the word needles? How about taking your children to get vaccines? That can be both traumatizing for parents and children alone. Fear of needles is trypanophobia. Phobia expert Lisa Fritcher says that 10% of all Americans have this intense fear of needles. The Center for Disease Control states that vaccines work best if most of the population is vaccinated for them. But they also explain that the State Department of Health requires that several vaccines be given to children before they can even attend public school. The only exemptions being is if a physician says that it's harmful for the child to have the vaccine or for religious reasons. Otherwise, the vaccinations are required to attend any public school. With all of these pressures that we're being faced with vaccines, it's likely that all of us will have to have a vaccine or a shot at some time. Needles were invented in 1853 and thus have been used ever since, and so has the fear of needles continued along with the entire use of them. Imagine if vaccines could be given without painful stick or needles at all. Bioengineer Mark Kendall from Australia Institute of Bioengineering and Nanotechnology has developed the nanopatch. This nanopatch is not on the market yet. However, the research continues on this pharmaceutical technology. Human trials are expected to begin with the nanopatch in 2016. The Merck Company, which is a large pharmaceutical company, who is also a top maker of numerous vaccines, has offered funds towards Kendall's research on the topic of the nanopatch and is hoping that these trials will be effective and we can get them out on the market. Okay, you are all probably wondering at this time, what is the nanopatch and how does it work? The nanopatch is a very small transdermal patch. It has tiny little spikes of tiny little vaccinated spikes. Those are coated with vaccine and they stick down into the skin just like a nicotine patch or a scopolamine patch. Those then are, the vaccine targets immune cells. The immune cells are what are reproduced to fight against vaccine diseases like polio, influenza, tuberculosis. The nanopatch is placed on the skin. The spikes go down into the skin. They're micro spikes, so you can't feel it. It doesn't feel like a painful needle stick. Those immune cells in the skin, where there are several thousands of them, respond to the nanopatch. And with that response, then they produce more immune cells against those specific diseases. They think that this is why this technology will be so effective, because that's where all the immune cells are located, even more so than in the muscular part of the arm where shots are given, or the leg, or the butt, cheek, or wherever shots can be given. The immune cells are mostly in the skin, on the bottom layers. So this may be a more effective way of giving them. Research has shown to be effective on animals, and by an article by Health and Science correspondent Kate Kelland, she quotes Kendall's work and him about his research, stating, "We demonstrated that you need only a tiny fraction of the dose, perhaps 100-fold less, to get same immune response as in comparison with regular vaccines given by needle." Nanopatch claims to be painless delivery of the vaccine as well, and it has other positive links to it as well. Some things that stood out to me were cost of shipping is less as opposed to regular fluid vaccines. NanoPatch is small in size, merely the size of a thumbnail, and it is lightweight and easy to transport. It's also a dry vaccine that does not need to be refrigerated to transport as other vaccines are. And because of this, there's no specially trained people who have to have the kind of technology to transport this to other areas, so there's no cost related to delivering. This all makes this very much easier and more feasible to deliver these vaccines to more underdeveloped countries who are very limited with healthcare and vaccines. And this may be something that will be more effective and easier to get to those places. Risks of needle sticks to healthcare professionals is also eliminated, and these unfortunate events can be very costly to the healthcare field. Professor Kendall continues his research to improve medical treatment of human life and for human life. He holds many rewards and recognitions for in his field of bioengineering, and this NanoPatch is going to be another one of those wonderful things maybe that he has been noted for. Eliminating all the issues and phobias related to traditional vaccines and needle sticks may be a big step in a positive direction for vaccinations. Never having another painful needle stick, it may get the attention of many of those individuals who are fearful, like yourselves, of needles. Maybe soon, after all this research is done and field tests have been accomplished and the NanoPatch is on the market, painful needle sticks will be a thing of the past for all of us. Does anybody have any questions about anything that I talked about? Thank you.